Mélòó ni Zlatan ni.
Ẹ kéde mi. Kí mi máa collabo pẹ̀lú Zlatan.
That's so for just Zankun everywhere.
It's all good, Jai.
All right, well, welcome.
Wait, hold on. Have you been recording all this time?
Yes.
Same money.
Okay, Tunde. You see how you do us. Okay, it's all good. Yeah, great, Isha. Sorry, people, we're just going to be in and out of Yoruba and language, and I don't know how it's going to fix this.
Well,
it is what it is.
I'll be real. English and the other language.
Our listeners speak all types of African languages and English, so you're free to say whatever you need to say.
One Africa.
Yeah.
Well, we're not shouting out other brands. We're shouting out the Lost Lifestyle brand today, so it's fine. You know. First of all, welcome, ladies, to the Wahala podcast.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you guys on the show.
It's a pleasure to be on the Wahala podcast.
It only took like 7 hours.
A while, but it's all good. We made it.
Yes. Boom. So where are we right now for our wonderful listeners?
We are on the mezzanine level of Southern Sun Hotel in Ikoyi, Lagos.
Very cool.
Right.
And why are we here? Why have we been here for the last week?
Do you need to know who we are first?
Oh yeah. I actually do need to know who you are. Okay.
I don't run the podcast.
That's actually great.
It's always nice to introduce your guests.
would you ladies like to introduce yourselves, because I didn't want to take the fanfare.
Yeah, introduce your
Yes.
Orúkọ mi ni Omolola Adele-Oso. In fact, Omolola Oladuni Abeje, Shifau Wuraola Adele-Oso.
What?
Lórúkọ mi, nǹkan tó ń pè mí ní Lọ́lá ṣá. Wọ́n máa ń pè mí ní Lọ́lá. Ìkejì mi ni.
Èmi ni Zainab Idowu Abeje.
Abeje? Wow.
You have Abeje too?
Yes.
So we share the same name. It's a lie.
Blood is thicker than water now. Blood me.
I didn't have Wura into my own. Onje Wura sha. Okay, all right.
Ọmọ Èkó ni mí.
Daughters of the soil, Ìsàlẹ̀ Èkó.
For those of you that don't, thank you. Yes, please. Wait, is this Nigerian water?
It is pure water. It's not pure water like that.
No. Me
just
pure water. No, my wa all right.
Oh.
No, nidaku.
Drink it, my friend.
Wow.
Sorry, people. So we're just getting 2 days in water to quench his thirst.
Nirogun typhoid.
Thirsty.
I'll drink it later.
Mo bèrè ni question.
Ami omo. Ngbo, Shawnee typhoid in America.
The views expressed on this podcast are not those expressed by LOS Lifestyle Company. Those are the views of Busala, Zainab, Abeje, Idowu. Not necessarily the LOS Lifestyle Company, which we're talking about on this podcast. And Sude seems to not be doing his job.
That's so funny.
Okay.
So for those that don't speak Yoruba, they started off by introducing themselves with all of their 70 Yoruba names and their orikis, which are praise names. And apparently these two wonderful women just realized that they share the same oriki, which is something your parents should have probably told you.
Also my grandmother's name and your great-grandmother's name.
Oh, wow. That is very cute. That's cutesy.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys are going to talk to your parents about that later and be like, oh, you didn't tell us.
Well, yeah, but since I'm older, it's like she jacked my name.
Wow.
Like, I think they needed to get permission from me.
That is actually funny.
Well,
yeah, technically. Your mom should have gotten permission from me.
So wait, how are you related again?
So her mom and I are cousins.
Okay.
Cousins, and my mother and her grandmother were sisters.
Got it. So, what do you wonderful women do for our listeners that are listening?
I'll let Zainab talk about it.
Yes, Minister.
Well, I work with the government, the state government.
Wait, I can't hear what you're saying because...
I work with the Lagos State government. I'm a tourism officer. And I have few businesses on the side.
Niger woman.
Oh shit. A strong woman.
Sorry, sinu microphone na Should be a man sorrow. You know how to. This is the same. I do this for a living.
I work with the government, so I know how to hold the microphone.
I do this for a living.
She can't put the microphone to her mouth.
No.
Okay, so I have few businesses on the side.
Are they legal?
Ooh.
No, we're just making sure. We don't want to get anybody in trouble on this podcast.
No. Our own family line, I can say 419, I can be drugs.
For those who don't know what 419 is, it is the corruption criminal code for Nigeria. Yeah, so if you hear 419, run.
Yes, literally.
Family name is so important, so we cannot spoil that name.
We cannot spoil it.
Thank you.
Okay. Turns a bunch.
So, and I am the CEO and founder of Los Lifestyle Company. It's my latest venture and baby. It's a travel and lifestyle concierge that creates experiences for those who are interested in all things Black, all things Africa, and for now focusing on all things Lagos.
Amazing.
So
when did you start the brand?
The company actually started in March. And it started with a line of T-shirts that I designed.
Yes.
You know what's crazy? I saw people around the city wearing the green shirt.
Green shirt?
Yeah, the green shirts that you passed down the street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw, like, I was out and I was like, that's weird. Is he staying? I thought, but it was it was a random dude.
It must have been people we gave that were walking around.
Completely random person.
Oh, wow,
I was
good.
just out and I was smacked and I was like,
we have something on our hands with those T-shirts. So, yes.
Well done.
So thank you.
So you guys are running the Supreme of Lagos.
We are trying to run the city, trying to promote domestic tourism, because a lot of people who come to Lagos.
Okay, so you're gonna hear a lot of laughing on this podcast. Zainab is actually a comedian.
Zainab is a fool.
She is a comedian. I don't.
So not a fool in a bad way. She's a comedian. She's a show on herself.
She needs her own pod.
Yes.
I have a lot to say, but I want to tell you
again, the views expressed by Zainab Idowu are not necessarily the views expressed by LOS Lifestyle.
It's been hilarious.
We cannot be held liable. Disclaimer all the way. Yes.
Oh, this is great.
But it is funny though. I mean, what she's saying is true. Is that we had a first trip with 12 people coming to Lagos from the US and UK, and it was amazing. The team knocked it out of the park, but of course with some things there are peculiarities that are normal.
Yes.
And shut up. But it was all around, I would say it was a win.
Well done.
It was.
Okay, cool. So what are your takeaways, Zainab? from the trip? We just heard the last takeaways.
And the other person laughing in the background is Mr. Cat Okede over there.
Missy Cat Okede, aka Goddess Cat.
Funke. And sometimes Ayo.
Sometimes
Okede. Okay. Because you know she has fitness personality.
Oh yeah.
That's too funny.
Put some respect on it.
No, I just put the funke. I just have to let them know.
Today's podcast, this recording just got derailed. But back to
it's okay. Apples like that. Shout out to derailments.
First tour trip. Amazing, hilarious.
Yes.
Different types of people.
Indeed.
You know, I've always had this notion about Americans. Okay, all of them, when they come to Nigeria, when you change the dollar to naira, you go plenty, you go get money to spend.
Shit.
On this trip, I say, Americans self they broke.
People are living audio life.
Audio life plenty.
Damn, she just called bad Americans brokies.
Like.
Yikes.
Me that I say in Lagos safe. You get some kind of things man if you do.
Yeah.
Seriously. But I think this trip has helped them see Lagos and Nigeria from another perspective. It has changed some people because, for example, I will not call their names. So some two people will go carry for airports. Call themselves husband and wife. As they reach. Okay, let me just say, but they change, they repent. You know, LOS has really
The Church of LOS has converted them. LOS lifestyle.
Thank you. And I'm so happy that African Americans are coming back home to see what tourism is, like what we are doing in Lagos especially. And I want to correct one notion. Lagos is just a small space in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Nigeria is the country, Lagos is a state.
Yep.
And we have over 100 destinations in Nigeria that we really need to see. And I would love them to come back next year too, and
And we've expanded where the trip goes. So we make it a multi-day trip that is multi-states.
Yes.
Abeokuta, Osun State. There are a lot of UNESCO heritage sites that Nigeria, I believe, has 10 alone. So this is an opportunity to really, again, promote domestic tourism, which is not necessarily being done. I think I was talking to someone earlier. I said that majority of the trips that happen within Nigeria are either interstate travel or people promoting travel outside of the country.
Yeah, I meet a lot of people here that have never left Iko ever. And it's like, bruh, you can go to any state around you and it'll take you half an hour.
Yeah. But I think it's also similar to when I was in the US. So I went to HU, Howard University. HU. For those who know. So it was similar to when I spoke with a classmate of mine and he said he'd never left DC.
Yeah, that happens too.
He'd been born and raised in DC, and I was like, DC is not that big.
Yeah.
So for you to never have left your home state, it's easy to see. And especially here with the very complex, multi-layered socioeconomic levels, it's understandable how a lot of people haven't left the state because they can't either afford it or they just don't know how. There are some people who travel from the mainland to the island and they think it's a different country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When
They
I
don't
tell
even realize it's still Lagos.
I tell certain friends that I have family on the mainland, they're like, how do you get there? You take Uber?
I know.
I'm like, that's probably like the only way you can get there from here.
And so that's a little bit of sometimes of the ridiculousness of, the bubbles. People who don't go, I don't go beyond this place on the island. It's like, come on now, but you go to the airport, right?
This is true.
So you've got to drive through the mainland. Last I checked, not many of you got helicopters.
This is true. No many, Sha.
Not many. Unless you have Dangote, Lumelu, and some other people on speed dial.
The dollar and co.
Those are your friends now.
Like that alone.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. You claim it.
In Jesus' name.
Just claim it.
Amen. So I think that there's the element of, even those who live here don't explore.
They don't.
No.
They don't. The curiosity of, this little ecosphere of bubble that I've built for myself is where I am going to stay. The things like, we want to have made clothes made, and we get it done in like 48 hours, and they didn't charge us close to, and people are making multiple items, bespoke outfits, and it doesn't cost you half as what you would get in a store on the island. Or people don't want to go shopping for fabrics because they don't want to deal with the market. I was in the market 2 days in a row, and the second time I stood there and I started filming. First of all, just the sounds of the buses, the downfalls, the streets, the sellers, everybody walking past. Just that sound is so beautiful that I have the recording that is almost 3 minutes long just of the audio. And I'm going to hold on to it and figure out how, I don't make beats, but there's something there that was rhythmic that I would love to see and turn into something. It could even be like a little soundtrack for LOS Lifestyle. But then the other side was then I just switched to my film. And I started filming and the chaos, the madness, but there's an order to the chaos and the madness.
Oh, yeah.
People who
Controlled
know what
chaos.
they need to, exactly. It's a tightly held thing where it's on the verge of maddening. But the people within it know how to navigate.
Absolutely.
And those, if you're a new person, an outsider observing it, you're like, how the hell are these people doing this? But when you get in there, you either have to go with the flow or you get ran over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would
I
say,
almost got ran over once or twice in the market, but that's a whole different story.
and you're pretty much from here, so it's like. So I would say for someone that is visiting Lagos for the first time, what would you say is the least dangerous area for them to explore as tourists?
Well, I would say most places on the island, like Ikoyi.
Okay.
Maybe the least dangerous place to explore would be Ikoyi. Because even VI, when you get to the beach, you have people hanging out there. But Ikoyi is mainly commercial and residential. So light commercial in that their offices, and by 5 o'clock people are gone home. And it's mainly old historical homes and residences that people live in. And it's also like old money. So they ain't like necessarily, twerking and all that kind of stuff. But when you go to VI and Lekki, don't go to Lekki, that's when things get really live and can get a little precarious on the island. But I think the safest place would be kind of staying in the
But my
Ikoyi.
thing is, I always tell people that comes to Lagos, like the things you see on VI, Lekki, Ikoyi,
It's on the mainland too.
like those are the things you are used to over there. If you really want to explore Lagos and you want to loosen up, come to the mainland.
You will have a ball.
You go to Magodo, you go to Omole, Festac, there's Ikeja too. You need to, when you visit the clubs there,
Like people are not
you will forget
profiling.
you are VVIP now. By the time you mix with the...
There's no VVIP over there.
Everybody's
and they're having
level.
a blast.
Yeah.
They're having a ball. We
So-
went out to The Truth, the concert with Seun Kuti. And, just sitting there were no airs. You had expats, you had locals, you had everybody sitting there.
Thank
people
you.
were drinking local beer, people were chilling, people were dancing. It was like a great, amazing time. Now, fast forward, you take that, bring that same vibe to anywhere on the island. And first of all, everybody's like, do you know who I am? It costs an arm and a leg to get in. I think how much GPP was like 1,000 naira per person. Here they charge you like a minimum of 10, 15 grand per person.
Get inside,
They ain't giving you much. The food isn't as great. The atmosphere is so still.
Too much.
And that's like the side of Lagos that I wish people would experience more. Is like, you want to see real Lagos? It's like, get off the island and explore it and see it. Enjoy the nightlife.
Thank you.
Even I, to be honest, even I don't do that as much. My cousin's always like, Lola, Auntie Lola, let's go. All these people that you're paying how much for a drink over here? Do you know how much you pay on the mainland? And the other day we experienced it, and I was like, she's right. Get yourself some grilled turkey legs that cost you not less than, and suya and chicken, and have a blast. The music is bumping. It's the same music. The DJs sometimes are even better because they have that underground, like, they know. And then some of the songs they will even play at the underground music that, those are moist or all these other places wouldn't play.
They're not even here. They probably even heard it
doesn't
yet.
make it the cut.
Yeah.
So, and then people are just free. People are free. You see guys just dancing with guys.
I mean, that's what
Over
I said.
here,
You forget you are VIP.
on the island, everybody's just like,
You go to
Yeah,
concert.
people are a little stush on the island. I see that a
Yeah.
lot. Even like trying to get into the club, if you're not like
Yeah.
with someone that has any sort of juice or whatever, if you don't look like you're supposed to be there, you're not getting in.
Tunde, if you go to Kilox and you get to the door,
Which
they
I
look at
have.
you from head. Have you done?
Yes.
And
but
no one
Tunde
tells
will
you,
be
"Fool."
rolling
Oh,
VIP
mama,
now.
oh, my deck,
You'll
like,
be
okay, delay.
Tunde will be rolling in with the band.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
DJ Tune.
Wow. Shout out to all the homies.
Saz on the
But a
beat.
regular
Shout out to the
guy.
homies.
He will be
Wants to
naming
enter
Whiskey.
Kilos.
I'm a regular now.
Oh, okay. Eléyìí tó jókòó síbi gan-an.
He said dollar.
Thank you, from
That's
head to
it,
toe.
from head to toe.
This, remember
That
this,
one,
this,
if you know put on t-shirts, maybe say, check his trousers and his shoes. Maybe he got it from one Yaba store like that. They won't even allow him enter the club.
it's true. I've seen it.
But on the mainland, you can get away
Nobody
with
cares.
that. Who cares?
Nobody cares. Everybody's there to have a great old time.
Thank you.
Like, you see guys, like, I was really impressed. Like, we were sitting there waiting for our food, and we saw guys just dancing with guys. And it's not as if it's like, there's something, it's like, then they're killing them, everybody's doing their own zanku zanku and everything.
Zanku.
Yeah, not too well.
Zankuwa.
I mean,
Then Zankuwa. Well
I'm
done.
telling you, it was a different level.
Zanku Oto.
Yes.
Only Zanku Oto.
Yes. You know how we have double something? Moi. Puff. Chin chin. It's so shoki. Kia.
Well done.
So me, I've called it zanku.
Zanku stoves. Well done.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I was gonna ask you another thing and I forgot. Yeah. So we have been here for a week enjoying this experience, and you guys have curated a wonderful experience for expats and people that would never really consider going to Africa, let alone Nigeria, for the first time. And the feedback that I've seen from everyone on the trip is that they were surprised that it was so not what they expected. And I think that in a way that's a blessing, because there's a lot of people I've tried to convince to come to Africa and they've waited and like, oh, it's not the right time. But now that they see, all these people are doing the year of return in Ghana and everybody's stopping over in Lagos first, like now those people are.
And that's another thing that I think why we wanted to do this trip, because Ghana is not the only country that owns a claim on the history of the transatlantic slave trade.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Give them.
It's not the only country.
Exactly.
It's like, I think this is where the education of people to understand the migration patterns of black people around the world, the forced migration in many different cases versus the economic migration that many of us experience, who willingly left for maybe education or for jobs. There were a lot of coasts. There was a huge coast before we were countries, and certain places were called the Gold Coast. For the Nigeria side, it was called the Slave Coast.
Yeah.
And then you have the Ghana coast as well, the Gold
Coast.
So, there are a lot of people were taken, and I think that what Ghana has done right, because it came from above the presidential level, is to be able to identify an untapped market of people that are hungry for another place to be. They're hungry for a connection to their identity, and they've marketed it. It's a great marketing way of bringing foreign direct investments into your country, because you're giving people citizenship, you're giving them the ability to own land, you're giving them the ability to invest in your economy. That's smart. However, the story around the transatlantic slave trade, Nigeria has, unfortunately, its own share. And I think that part of what we are also trying to do is to show that, there's another aspect of the story. For example, going to, one of the slave barracoons that's still around and hearing from the family that, people were being enslaved, Africans were taken for an umbrella.
I've seen stories very similar
An
where
umbrella,
I've
tea,
seen,
cup and saucer,
there's
bottle of gin.
I read a story of Oshodi Tapa, who I've read various accounts of, who he was and how he relates to the various royal families that he was associated with in Lagos and all that stuff. And I remember, like, the earliest stories that I've read of him were all these mythical stories of how he was a mystic and he was just in the forest and then somehow found, the king, and the king was like, I like you, and he brought him back to Lagos, and he was in the palace just like being super magical and helping people win wars and all this other stuff. Those are the mythical legends that I grew up reading. And then as an adult, I'm reading more accurate like stories that have been, consciously obscured, that refer to him as someone that was a slave. His parents were killed in the northern part of Nigeria, and he was basically captured and brought into Lagos he was traded a few times, and then he somehow ended up on a Portuguese slave ship on its way to the West Indies, where he escaped and went straight to the king, and the king was like, okay, I'm gonna take you in. And it was wild because the king of that time, I want to say it was Ọba Kosoko at that time, that took pity on him, which was weird because Ọba Kosoko was heavily involved in the slave trade at that time. So he had to have a moral talk with himself where, do I actually listen to a slave who I would have sold if I never bumped into him at my palace, or do I listen to him, his plea for help, and give him a chance to be a useful part of the environment of the
There's a lot
society.
of history that we have yet to tell from our own perspective, and so it's a good segue because LOS Lifestyle, we had this gala on Saturday, the LOS gala. That's the first.
And it was fire.
Yes, and its theme was Lagos in December, but it was really a throwback to 1960 of Nigeria's independence and imagining what the first December celebration could look like. And at that event, we announced that we are working on an initiative which we're calling Lagos Living History, of collecting and creating some kind of an archival, public accessible portal or database where people can provide information about their families and history, because we have lots of people who have documents and stories that are sitting uncollected.
And digitize them.
Digitize it and make it accessible. And it's a thing where, if you want to license a photo, that you could pay for a license. So this is about how do we also create, our company, LOS Lifestyle, is whatever we do, whether it's the trips, whether it's the galas, whether it's other kinds of experiences that we create, it's an intentionality about preservation. It's also an intentionality of exposure, of culture, but also making sure that the people that are involved in anything that we do leave saying, I know more about me, I know more about these people, and I want more.
Yeah. So Z, you're a little quiet over there.
Well, I just listen to what she talk, because actually one of the tourists, she told me that when we got to Badagry, Badagry is always emotional for everyone.
Yeah.
So when we got there, and she was like, she sat alone, and I went to her, I'm like, okay, what happened? Why are you? She was like, she's okay, but this trip, like, she's been looking for where she's from, like her roots.
Yeah.
That she has gone for the DNA thing in America, and she's waiting for a result to come out, and she'll be so happy. She knows she's a Nigerian, but she really doesn't know the tribe, maybe Yoruba, Igbo or something. If she's a Yoruba woman, she'll be so happy, and she's going to come back here, to live the life, which I am very, very happy that people can just,
Yeah, and I've grown up with a lot of people like that. I mean, I grew up in New England, and most of the black people I grew up with always, when you would ask them where they're from, I'm from the South. My family's from the South, or my family's from the islands, or from the Caribbean. But if you ask them to go deeper, they can't go deeper. And even if they maybe had a family member that knew more, maybe they don't speak, or that family member just didn't know enough to help them understand.
Yeah.
So I think with all these DNA testing and all these 23andMe's and Ancestry.coms and stuff, even though I don't necessarily believe in it because I don't want anybody to make a clone of me.
Well, you should try AfricanAncestry.com.
Google will buy them one day and make a clone out of all of our cousins. I don't want any part. But I understand why it exists, and I get it gives people hope and to understand a little bit about their genetic makeup. That's great. But I think that these types of experiences would have helped growing up. I could have been like, hey, there's a agency, a company that I'm familiar with that allows people to kind of take part in, going to the continent and really, getting a deeper understanding about who their ancestors could be or could have been or are. I don't think those opportunities were afforded to a lot of Americans when I was growing up. So I look forward to seeing more of these things happening, so that the people that I know that are hungry for this experience can actually have access to it.
Experiences will be the same, because the itinerary will not be the same. And so that's another thing that we take extensive amounts of time in understanding who are the people that are coming. We have a questionnaire that we send out to them. that can help us tailor, okay, these people want a little bit more of this, or these people are not as traveled, or these people are people who are more stickler for time. Oh, and just, another thing for people who are coming, if you're not a person who can be flexible, if this kind of experience might not be for you.
True.
Because with Lagos, you have to go with the flow. Even I didn't realize how so-called Americanized I've become.
Yeah, you're privileged when you check your privilege.
Yeah, not even just that, but it's just my inability at moments to be in the flow here. Of like, no, it should be this way. And I'm like, you gotta just let it go. Like, this is Lagos. People kept telling me, until it happens, Lagos last minute is where everything happens. But I'm like, no, 2 months ago, I needed to have this like lockdown and firm up. And I kid you not, sometimes it was even like 12 hours before the event that bam, something happened. Will pop up. So it's a learning of that. You have to understand the culture, the norms, those unsaid things that if you come on a trip like this and you don't come with somebody who's from here, you run the risk of not only hating it, you run the risk of offending a lot of people. A lot.
But that's kind of like anywhere you go, right? Like true. The first time I went to, I'm trying to think, the first time I went to like LA. The first time I ever traveled to LA, I didn't know anything about LA. I knew I had family around there, but even the family that I had there were not from, like, they're not from there, right? They may have moved there, whatever. So they weren't experts on LA culture. So going to visit family for the first time as a kid, they didn't know to bring me to the hot spots or whatever. They didn't know what I liked. They couldn't even tell me anything cultural that wasn't necessarily in line with what they like. Yeah. So it wasn't until I was older when I was able to go to LA by myself and I had made friends out there that I was like, oh, this is really cool, because you're dealing with people that are natives, people that actually understand what LA culture is and things that you actually care about and align with you. So I get it completely.
And then, even that, that LA as a city has multiple zones within 100%. It. And that's the same way Lagos has multiple zones.
Let's talk about those zones, because I got to experience that myself when we went to certain spots.
What did you experience?
When we went to Mahoho.
Oh my gosh.
Mahoho. So for those that are like, what is Mahoho? So Yoruba people call it Morocco, because we like to corrupt every name and call names what they're not. Even though Oduduwa isn't his name something completely different. His real name is supposed to be.
We pronounce as we see.
His real name is supposed to be Izodua or something like that.
Abat Macaulay.
Abat Macaulay.
Oh, Deborah. That's the one that gets me every time.
Deborah. Deborah.
Nigerians bastardize your name.
Abat
Macaulay.
Herbert Macaulay.
Yes,
Herbert Macaulay.
Herbert Macaulay is one of the founding fathers of what is now present-day Nigeria. There's actually a movie coming out about him.
Oh yes, I think I did. Yeah.
Imo Morin is
the one that's. Yeah, I think I saw something about him. Yeah. But it's Herbert Macaulay.
Herbert Macaulay.
Abat
Macaulay. Let's think. What is
it? Hey, Abat Macaulay.
Abat.
Herbert Macaulay.
Your foreign accent is so funny.
It's funny
to me.
She needs her own show. I will be your agent.
I'm sorry, Tibalos America. I don't think that phone will enter my mouth. I'm sorry.
For those to translate for other people, she said, I'm sorry, if I travel to America, I don't think my accent's going to change.
It won't change now. At this age,
it will. It'll change.
No, it's too late.
It's not. I think you. Okay, so code switching, even in Lagos, code switch. I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it. So on that note, before we even go to the point of code switching, let's take a break so we can get some of the sponsorship money flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody's paying today's bills. Thank you for paying his bills.
Thank you so much.
So you won't be leading audio life.
Inside live.
We'll
be right back.
So, don't call their name. They didn't pay you.
All right, we're back. You women will not kill me. You women will not kill me inside life.
So I told the CEO of LOS when she was.
That would be me.
Yes.
Okay. He's speaking about me.
Omolola Adele-Oso.
Don't wear it out.
Oh wait,
the other names?
your last.
Oladunni.
Wuraola, Abeje, Shifao.
Shifao, yes, just that name.
That's my grandma's name.
What is Shifao? Is that a Muslim?
Yeah,
is that a Muslim name?
that's true.
Shifao, I think so. Yeah.
It's a Muslim name.
Yeah, it's a female.
So,
name.
one of the old names.
Old names.
So
They
what-
don't make Shifaos anymore.
They don't make Shifaos anymore.
No, they don't.
What is that like, Deborah? No, it's like Margaret. Margaret. What's another biblical name that nobody would give their name anymore? Gladys is Gladys.
Gladys.
Yeah, Gladys.
Yeah, they don't make Gladys.
Nobody's out here looking like a Gladys. Here's my daughter. Gladys Agunda P. Gladys. Gladys Clark. She Gladys.
Shifao. No. They don't make Shifao.
There's no Shifao.
Abejes. They don't make Abejes.
Give me too much Shifao, no?
I actually don't even know.
I can't remember.
I got
But
too
it's a
many names to
beautiful
keep
name.
track of all of it. I know.
It's a beautiful name.
Okay, so that's another fascinating thing. So for those that don't know, these two wonderful young women are. See, I made sure I put the young there so you
Yes.
know.
Yes, we're young.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's important. These wonderful young women are actually descendants of royalty, and they won't tell you that because they're over humble. Over humble. In fact, I spell it Overhumbu. Over humble.
Over humble.
Yes.
You know, Yoruba people will be dropping the H and we put the
Thank
H
you.
somewhere where it shouldn't be.
H factor.
Humble.
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 So H factor, we talk about this in an earlier episode. We talked about H factor. So anywhere that actually starts with an H, you remove the H,
Yes.
and you just make sure that
Humble.
you just say the word without H.
How are you?
But if it starts with a vowel, except for if it starts in a vowel and it doesn't start with if it starts with a vowel, you add an H to it.
Have you?
Irú àwọn ará Ìbàdàn ni
No,
wọ́n ṣe.
Why are you being
Yoruba ni
disrespectful?
wọ́n.
Sorry.
You're not sorry.
We're about to have tribal wars on
It's
this thing
okay.
right now.
Sebi, that's
Yoruba
how
wars.
slavery started now. Anyways, now that we've been on the subject of transatlantic slave trade, as if the various wars, old Oyo doesn't exist because of a few reasons.
Mm-hmm.
How many Allah things must go before you people decide to not fight him again?
Let's not enter Ibadan. Let's stay to Lagos, I beg.
Yes.
Ibadan ni
People are all
more.
special.
Ibadan ni more.
Don't let us go there.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Let's stick to Lagos.
Even though
It's
we
okay.
have family members that are Ibadan,
So-
it's aspects of our family tree that is Ibadan.
Well done.
But
The fact that you call
leg.
okay, wow,
Ibadan people,
No.
wow, that's not nice.
Ẹ má jẹ́ ká lọ bẹ̀.
Wait, so what should you record?
You know what's funny? I don't disagree with you. There's a lot of my Ibadan side I don't claim.
No.
Even and you know there's a distinct line that I come from as well that I don't really
Thank you.
associate with. But I mean, you know.
I say I will just change
Yeah,
the
we
subject.
just it's okay. Ibadan ni wa, but
We allow you.
you can't choose where you're born into.
You can choose, Sha.
I'm in Lagos with my Lagosian family.
There you go.
So let's also talk about that. There's a distinct. I feel like if you go back in the history of Lagos, there's a distinct time period where you see the traditional form of worship was subverted for Christianity and then for Islam. Can you talk a little deeper about that? Because I know that there was a king that decided to adopt the Christian faith in Lagos, and then I feel like every king after him seemed to either be believer in Islam or both.
Yeah, I think that once during the eras around colonialism, I think that you had a lot of things where the British, while we've always had traditional rulers and our own traditional way of being of government, you know, that people have subscribed to. They revere elders. And so these traditional rulers and elders have always been there. The influence of outside colonial, what's the other phrase of them? This is not just colonizers, but there's another phrase for calling them. Interlopers or whatever you want to call them. You have had the Brazilian Portuguese influence. You've had the British in Lagos.
Of the Benin.
The Benin, people from Lagosians are descendants of people from Benin. And so that, I think all that come together in the early stages of the formation of Lagos State. Now,
And when you say Benin, you mean the country Benin, not Benin. Correct.
yes, no, people of Benin.
Yes.
Like, the country of Benin.
The
state of Benin.
Okay,
Not
so
Benin.
Edo people.
Yes,
Got
Edo
it.
people.
That's
Yes.
and that's another thing
Yes.
that messes.
I want to let you know something.
Yes.
In that state, Edo people are different from the Benin people.
Correct.
Really.
Yes, Benin people don't like you recognizing them as Edo.
So okay, so
it's
break.
just like how people from the Delta region would say, when people say, "Should be all your Igbo,"
They
we're
will
not
tell you
Igbo.
they are not Igbos.
We're not Igbo.
Yeah.
They're not Igbo. So it's this.
Benin is
And those
Benin.
Edo
is Edo.
See, these are things that you wouldn't learn this
Exactly.
outside of
Yeah,
Nigeria. Like you
because,
have to be in Nigeria
tribal
to learn this
Yes.
stuff. That's
It's still
wild. It's just like when
happening. It's
people.
still happening.
No, I've met people. I met Ijebu people that say I'm Ijebu.
Yes. Yes.
Like we say, you're no, I'm Ijebu.
Yes.
Like,
I'm
okay.
Ekiti.
Ekiti, yeah.
So,
don't
Yeah.
get it twisted.
Yes.
I'm Ekiti. Not just saying I'm Yoruba. I'm Ekiti.
If you go to Osun State, there is Ife, there is Modakeke.
Modakeke.
The only line between them is just a drainage. Yes, if you cross it, you are in Ife. If you cross the other side, you are in Modakeke. But you dare not. You will never see a Modakeke man cross into Ife till tomorrow.
Why?
It's been like that. During the days of Oduduwa, I think something happened.
They just
So
don't.
the
They don't
Modakeke
rock.
people
They don't rock
betrayed
with each other.
the Ife people. So since
The
then,
outsiders.
so it's a deep thing.
And I think, when you start looking at the formation of states, but how they really are villages.
They're like city states.
Exactly. But even that, like in some areas, like right here is one village, right there is
It's
another village.
And they can speak a completely different language.
And they don't agree.
They could.
They don't
And
trade
they don't
with
trade
each other.
with
They don't
each
marry
other.
each other.
So before the colonizers decided to partake in business exchanges that already existed before they got there, what do you think the dynamic was in these different villages or city states?
I mean, I think that for this region, there were water people. Water people, so it was about trading, fishing, so anything that comes with the water economy, I think, was what was happening.
Yeah.
Probably some smuggling. Well, clearly some smuggling
Of course.
of human beings.
Yes.
But other things too. We have natural resources here. So all that, it was always a commerce region. And I think as the state has continued to grow, known as a central hub of Africa's economy, it's still true. I tell people that if Lagos economy fails, it's going to be felt around the world because the whole of not only West Africa but the continent will definitely feel it. And so I think that is one of the good things we have going for us, that the GDP of Lagos can support a country, several countries, but I think that we also have not tapped into other aspects of our economy that could even push us even to a bigger level, and other aspects of the nation too.
Yeah.
We talk about Lagos a lot, but Nigeria has how many states? 36 states. And I think that there has to be a way for each state to be able to, I hate to use this word, but commoditize their other aspects of their people and their culture.
Absolutely. It's just like even in the United States, certain states for certain things. Idaho for its potatoes. Certain states for like their syrup, maple syrup. Every state has its own identity.
Yeah, every
right?
state has its own identity.
Connecticut's the constitution state.
And I think that the federal government should do something to help each state, whether it's arts and culture, whether it's Ministry of Tourism, giving them guidance, a blueprint and support and funding to be able to preserve and promote the history so
Some
that
states are actually coming to Lagos State
Exactly.
to understudy our tourism here. How we do it?
Yeah.
The
I mean,
federal government, they be
maybe it just
here.
needs to be built. Maybe there needs to be a place that people can go to understand, like, here are the other things happening in other states. I honestly think if there was something like that in Lagos, it would actually help. But then the flip side of that is, how would people that are actually interested in stuff happening in other states get to those things?
exactly. So that's where the infrastructure comes in. And with building infrastructure for tourism also comes the infrastructure for stronger security. And that's the bigger question. And that was one of the things we were very intentional about, is making sure we're changing the perception people have of Nigerians. You know, not everybody is going to be asking you for a Nigerian prince or a government official that is asking you for money, you know, or that everybody wants to steal from you. It's that just like traveling to any other place, you have to be smart. You know, some of the guests didn't realize that there were security officers with them on the trip.
Yes.
You know, they blended
Exactly.
in. You know, so we do our part to make sure they feel safe, and that was a recurring thing. It's like they were like, you know, you guys always say, you know, be safe, but you know, we feel safe. And I was like, that's because we're doing our job. You know, if you didn't feel safe, I'm sure we would hear about it too.
Yeah.
There are many people who come to Nigeria and they hate it, and it's because they don't understand how to be in Nigeria. You have to be. There's certain things, and Nigeria is not a monolithic. We have how many? Over 100 languages in Nigeria alone. So, you know, going from even Lagos to Ogun State, the way they speak Yoruba is different.
It's very different.
Very different.
Clearly.
The dialect is different.
Yes.
The way they use their words are different.
Yep.
You know, the greetings and some things. So
I can't understand Abeokuta Yoruba.
No, me too. I still can't understand it.
I didn't even know.
Ibadan people.
Ibadan Yoruba. Even Ibadan Yoruba is different.
I can't. I'm like, are they speaking Yoruba? And like the way, even the inflection of their voice, and I was like, I do not understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, please somebody translate for me. So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful mesh of.
So is their dialect considered is that like an Oyo specific dialect that they speak?
You can tell because in the regions, if you go to Abeokuta, you can tell people can identify a person from the way they speak Yoruba.
It's kind of like when you're anywhere in the world, like in the
Exactly.
States. If I'm talking to someone and they start speaking a Southern drawl, you know
they're from the South.
If you hear somebody say B, what's up B, you know they're from New York. You know.
Exactly.
Or if you say,
LA,
I'm
like,
hella hot, you know that they're from the Bay.
Exactly.
So it's very similar in Yoruba with Yoruba.
Yeah.
And I just think the way the Yorubans identify themselves is the most interesting part to me.
I think so. I think we're pretty cool. But
Yeah, we
I
are.
think that, I'm actually now more interested in learning about other cultures in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Especially the Hausa culture.
Okay.
While
we're on there, what are some cultures that you're aware of in Nigeria that you don't know anything about that you'd like to learn?
That I don't want to know anything about.
That you do. Because again, the Badagry stuff is still messing with my brain.
Oh, okay. I think the Hausa culture, I still really want to know. The Igbos, I don't want to go there. I've lived with them for a year and my experience was crazy.
Well, yeah, Igbo culture is very vastly contrast to Yoruba culture for sure.
It's a little more, I would say, protective of themselves.
Yeah.
It's not as open.
Yeah.
If you're not from, for some friends who are, who let's say have dated other Igbo people from other places, they'd be like, family issues because you're not from the same village.
Of course.
I kind of feel like, the Igbos in Nigeria are kind of like, to me, or from my experience, are kind of like the way like how the Jews operate in the States. Like they're very
they're very entrepreneurial, that's for sure.
100%. I'm not even talking about financial or any stereotypicals. I'm just saying like the way their cultures are. Like they're very into their own culture.
Yes,
They're very ethnocentric, and they'll do whatever it takes to keep things within their own culture.
They don't want you to mess around with their beliefs and their culture.
And I think
they
the
don't.
Hausas are that too on a different level. You should think Hausas are less aggressive or seen as less aggressive.
Yes,
and that's how they
the
win.
system of
Governance
in Hausa is different.
Very different.
They have one person that is their head. So without that person's like, go ahead and do this, they won't do it.
Was that the Emir or the Sultan?
Not the Emir.
The Sultan of
okay,
Sokoto.
the Emir is the overall head.
I thought the Sultan of Sokoto was like
village,
the topmost guy in the north. The Sultan of Sokoto.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So he would be like, how we have our Onyo of Ife. Interesting. How does that work? So like, does the Sultan of Sokoto talk to the Onyo of Ife and they figure out how to do the...
Well, you have the confederates of like traditional rulers.
Got it.
You know, that are...
That's a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
It's a big thing.
Oh. And then you have the ones of the Yoruba, that's Kabiyesi, Akeolu of
In Lagos alone, we have over 50 traditional rulers. Because we have the first class and the second class. Yes.
Yes,
and they
first
come
class,
to
second
the
class.
secretariat for meeting every last Thursday of the month. So it's
They
a
have
thing.
a whole bus that takes them around and all that
Akeolu is the
stuff.
chairman.
Yeah.
So
Of course. Oba.
So yeah, so they have their
it's a thing.
they have their own internal system of governance.
We're still owed a visit. We're
Maybe
still
next
owed
time.
You know. Hopefully he'll be in a better mood. Yeah.
Kabiyesi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's speak highly of him. I don't need
Yes.
I don't need any bad energy. I thought you were saying that he was walking up to you.
No.
That was actually, I'm about to be freaked out. Can you imagine if I turn around and
he's
he just
walking up here?
all I see is just
you know.
all I see is just line print on his feet.
You will see police first of all.
Him entering the compound.
Exactly.
They would have shut everything was shut down.
You know, people think rolling with an entourage is one thing. Come to Nigeria, you see rolling with an entourage.
Yeah.
That is wild.
It will 6 cars deep in front and 3 at the back.
That's so funny. So my parents grew up in Lagos. I think for them, their big fear was, the way they left Lagos, and when the coups and everything happened. I think they were very against us seeing what they saw, but once Abacha died and things started to kind of get towards a more stable place, I think they were more open to us coming
back.
here. I came here as a kid while Abacha was president, and I could still remember how afraid people were.
I was here.
People were
Abacha was
afraid.
still president.
And they warned us, don't say this, don't say that. I remember being 6 or 7 years old knowing that there's certain things I couldn't say. And I'm like, but, curious American kid, but why? Why can't I ask this question? Like, if you don't shut up your mouth, shut up there. I said you cannot say that.
That's part of, part of the trauma that I think the country has gone through in many different ways. We've never had a process of reconciliation.
It's just he's gone now, so you be fine.
Even from all the way back to our Civil War, that's where you see the tensions between the 3 major groups: the Hausas, the Igbos, and the Yorubas. The form of governance that we have, where there's sort of a rotational system where you will never see probably a Hausa and an Igbo man, ruling together or something like that, or it's always.
Which is wild, because Buhari's not Hausa.
He's Fulani.
He's Fulani,
Fulani.
but he's from the north. Northerner, he's still from the north.
Got it.
So it's usually the north and the Yorubas that would kind of be paired together.
Yes.
And then you have.
Hausa man no want see Igbo man. Go finish him.
That's what I'm saying. It goes the things that
So
go all the way back to
why do you think that is?
Civil War.
Okay.
Because when the British handed government and the leadership over to the north, and then we had the things that happened in Biafra, where the Northerners were in charge of the military.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
And
and
beefing with
they
the
killed
Killed a
secessionists.
whole lot of people from
Yes.
east.
So there's they feel like the
There's
Igbos
that
are like the
still
treasonous.
bitterness.
Yeah.
And that's part of one of the things I say why Nigeria has a deep-rooted need. We ought to go through a national process of reconciliation. There has to be an admission that wrongs were done. There has to be a way of restitution, because you still have people who lived through Biafra still around, and are still traumatized. You still have a camp of, soldiers who fought in the Biafra War where they're not being taken care of. So those kinds of things are the little things that you do to help heal some wounds. And I think that after that, we need to have a national dialogue around a national identity. What does it mean to be Nigerian? I ask people that. Nobody knows what it means. What can you say to be
100%.
Nigerian? If I asked you, what does it mean to be American? What does that afford you?
It's funny that you asked that, because if you asked me 3 years ago what it means to be American, I would say, oh, easy, the American dream. You know, people come from every
Life,
country in the
liberty,
world.
pursuit of
Pursuit of
happiness.
happiness. Boom, you can come here with nothing, make something out of yourself, double mopping to, you know, an assistant somewhere and rise the chain of any corporation. Boom, you could be the CEO of a company that you didn't even start one day. You could start your own company, be an
Make your
entrepreneur.
own dream.
Now, in 2019, as a black man living in America, and you have seen a lot of the garbage has been happening there.
That's true.
It's a difference. It's a difference.
That's a difference.
I have
You
a
know,
different
fair
opinions.
enough. Fair
I have
enough.
Different opinions. It's a
Fair
little different. Do thank God that I can walk out of the house every day and not get shot.
Get shot.
You
That
know?
is true. You don't have to be with stop and frisk.
Yeah, because all black people
every
in the
single
States
time.
right now have PTSD of their own,
Yes.
right? Like, not just from, I mean, slavery on its own is one thing, right? But then you have intergenerational trauma where people are, you know, some people are on the projects, they don't want to do better because then they're out of the project and they actually have to, like, figure out how to, like, do shit.
Yeah.
And the people that are actually trying, but they don't even have the capacity to really understand how to try because they haven't been given any of the tools to succeed in the environment they're in. So there's that, and those are people in a society that works. Even it may not be the most efficient. Now that we can see all the cracks and the holes with Trump, you know, with our current orange in chief, but go to a Nigeria where the system doesn't really work, and how are people dealing with the PTSD of, like you said, a civil war, and even before that, people that had just figured out how to coexist with each other with the western, eastern, northern regions.
Back in the days, you still you still have it. You know, it's again, you had Muslims and Christians marrying each other. You had, you know, so it's not just multiple faiths in a family, but also multiple tribes. You know, an Igbo person who was born in Lagos or something
Who speaks Yoruba,
you know, marrying a Yoruba woman who may have a father or a mother
that grew up in Kano.
Exactly. So that right there is, to me, the beauty of how we used to be and can be. I think the challenges are now, thanks to certain things like the black gold, oil, you know, it's become, thanks to, corruption, thanks to poor governance. I think corruption is a symptom of poor governance, that we have a lot of people that anytime anything happens in Nigeria, and even though we've been jokingly saying it even here, you know, linguistically, when you listen to us, it's like, Ibadan people, Eburu, Ekiti people, they are this, you know.
They're all stereotypes. It's like Chinese people can't drive.
Part of the things that still keep us separate. And identifying each other as the other.
Yeah, we have stereotypes. Every society has.
Figure out a way. If we're thinking about the future of Nigeria and the future generations of Nigeria, I have this theory that we need to actually define what it means to be Nigerian.
I agree.
And until we can get to a place where people agree that as a Nigerian, that means I should be able to get free education for school. I should be able to get, you know, affordable health care that works. I should be able to feel safe. My government should be able to provide this. I should be able to get a job when I go to school and come out. And if you're going to keep the youth service corps, you know, that coming out of that, I should be able to get a job. You know, all these things I should be able to live, and I should be able to aspire that my dreams are attainable. If we can define what those mean for us as a nation, I believe that Nigeria will be unstoppable.
I agree. I saw a tweet the other day where it said a lot of people are proud to be in Nigeria, but they're not proud to be Nigerians. Like, a lot of people right now are proud to be in Nigeria because it's like you're around so much diversity and you're around so much culture. But Nigeria, I've even said this in the past. Nigeria, as it is it's a fucking mess. And as someone that has tried multiple times to repatriate and start businesses here and work with people here, it's just like something as simple as ordering fast food can take half an hour, right? Because
it's tough.
Because you walk in and you say, "Hey, I want a cheeseburger with chips."
It's tough. But I also think that it's because in many ways different infrastructures are broken, that it also makes the golden opportunity for people to actually create innovation and to be innovative in creating solutions that in many cases in the Western world we're still behind. Simple things like you think about M-Pesa and in Kenya and how that started, making mobile money transfer from person to person easy for people who are not banked. So we still have millions and millions of people who are unbanked, who are not using or engaging in a financial institution, but they're moving money around. In America, trying to do a transfer, I just tried to transfer money from my Capital One to Bank of America.
Nope.
2 days and going.
Because they have to verify this and check that.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's because of, I think it's the bureaucracy and the bloatedness of the infrastructure, the system.
And they're antiquated. Because
And they're integrated,
now.
but also people are making money.
Yeah.
Here you can have instant money transfer from one bank to another. Like, it still amazes me how now in Nigeria, our ability to transfer money from one person to the other using a local bank is more it's expeditious than anything we're doing in the U.S. So in certain ways, when you're thinking about, you still have people who in the U.S. or in the U.K. or wherever in the West are also poor and not engaged in financial institutions or financial systems where they can actually use money. They need to come here and learn about how it's being done and then take it here. But then you have the banks who will try to squash any new innovation that will circumvent them making money. Whereas here, you don't have that. Now the government is trying to start catching up and start taxing these things that have been proven like, oh, wait a minute, these people are making money. But now people are now thinking of even more innovation levels, and it's going to take government a while before they catch up.
The other, that's great. Those are great points that both of you have brought up. But another thing I was thinking of, we're in a place where the sun is out all the time. What do you think is the reason why solar energy hasn't taken off in a place like Nigeria?
Oh, come on now.
Let's talk about it.
We are an oil-producing country. We are, if you have a big natural resource like oil, and even though we have a lot of water, we would think that we would focus and invest more in our hydroelectric power. Considering we source Ghana some kilowatts of.
We are helping Ghana power their nation,
but
we don't
NEPA
even
will
have.
still be switching off lights.
No. I will take back. But then, NEPA don't better for Nigeria.
Okay, NEPA is better.
We have light now.
in some
Was it
areas.
PHCN?
No,
now? What do they
all
call it?
around.
What do
It's
they-
better than last year.
Okay, it's better than last
Seriously.
year.
Okay.
But if we look at cumulatively over the years,
Yeah, you're right.
our infrastructure of electricity has not been invested in, and it's intentional. So
Well,
those
Buhari's government has tried as much as possible to shift attention from the oil
yes,
to agriculture. Agricultural industry in Nigeria is
Booming.
seriously 100%.
but solar in general, I think even in the West, it's still when you have lobbying anywhere against the sun is free, last I checked, but you have industries that rely on government assistance and subsidies. You're going to have a struggle with it. I think that also one challenge with solar is the initial cost of investment. It doesn't the way of installing an electric power in a home is still relatively cheaper because the companies that are doing this have bought this in bulk. If people are not ordering enough in volume of solar panels or solar systems, then it's still relatively high. Now, on the long run, it pays for itself, and the cost, you can see that the cost, you don't spend as much on electricity and all these things, but the upfront cost of installing, solar panel or solar power, using solar power is still very high, and I think that's globally. So here, and also we're slow to change. A lot of people do have solar panels on their homes.
Okay.
Especially if you go in the Lekki area, a lot of people have solar panels on their homes. But again, can this be an alternative form of energy for people? It should be, especially for people who can't afford, to be paying these electric power bills. Which, how is it that if you don't have light for 2 weeks, but then NEPA is bringing you a bill that was higher than the last time when you had lights?
Because how are they really tracking it?
Exactly. Sometimes they're fleecing people. So,
Yikes.
again...
Also, when you look at some of these power lines, you see 75 million things connected to one power line. I'm like, how do they even track this stuff?
It's going to be tough because if you're talking about going on fiber optics underground, then that means you're going to be ripping up a whole bunch of things.
Maybe you need to do that. Maybe Lagos needs to be reupholstered. I've been saying that.
But it has to be a coordinated phase thing, but then that comes into with eminent domain.
So we're still building Lucky Phase 1 after God knows how many years. Still phase 1. Where's phase 2?
Lucky Phase. There's a phase.
Phase 2 now.
It's done?
Yeah, Peninsula 1, Peninsula 2, Scheme 2.
Scheme 2 is how they call it.
Scheme 1 is the Admiralty. Scheme 2, the other side. Even VGC, I think, is the Scheme 3.
They just don't
What's
call
VGC?
it that.
They don't just
Victoria
call it.
Garden
You don't
City.
know VGC.
Oh, no.
VGC, then there's Chevron.
VGC, VGC. If you never reach VGC, I beg.
And come and see some of the
But
houses.
listen, it's Banana Island.
Oh, I know Banana Island.
Yes.
But VGC, come and see some of the houses in the area.
Banana Island, no, come.
But Banana Island is so stark.
Yeah, because it's
It's
so
just
expensive.
and it's so concrete.
Oil companies, Laura apartment in best, so.
Sorry, we just digressed. Yeah.
No, it's all good.
It's just like I went in there. Every time I go in there, I'm like,
So
there's nothing
silent,
here.
like a graveyard.
Yeah, it's like looks empty. They don't even have a grocery store, like a real
They do,
grocery.
but there's nothing
There's
in
nothing
the
in there.
store.
So you
Wow.
literally are living in this community that's all concrete, and then you have to come out to go to a club. You have to come. It's like, who thought about that?
No, you're right. You have a good point. All right, well, we're going to take another break with our sponsors. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The
We have
face.
some of our bills.
Yes, we have to pay more bills.
Please pay Tunde, please.
Okay.
We're waiting for bank alert.
Well, yeah, we're going to make it happen. Once the bank account starts to work properly. Shout out to
Before
GTB.
we start having to sing
Shout out to Providence Bank. Shout out to also shout out to Wallets.Africa.
Yes.
Definitely held me down during this trip.
Yes, Wallets Africa.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Shout outs
you,
to
Uber.
Turkish Airlines. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to Uber.
Yes.
You know what I'm
And who else
saying?
are we shouting out?
Sponsor.
Yeah, Southern Sun Hotel, Ikoyi.
Southern Sun
Shout
Hotel.
out
We
to-
love you.
Yes.
We love you for loving us.
Nine Mobile.
Biggie drinks.
Biggie Drinks.
Oh, shout out to Biggie Drinks. See, they had. I'm not gonna say the name of the drink
Shout
because I'm
out
gonna
to
steal
North
it.
Africa.
Nosh Africa.
Shout out to
Coconut
Nosh.
Candy.
Oh yeah, those
and-
candies were good.
Yes. That's our other company.
Oh wow.
Thank you. Other businesses.
That's all that business.
Yeah.
Well done.
We're going global.
Well done.
2020.
2000 even 19. Multi-taste already.
Money things.
MTZ. Money Twins. Well done.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back, y'all. On est pé ewa animated. Ewa animation.
Now we have been joined by one other additional somebody.
You know what the wild thing is?
The goddess herself.
So
All the way from DC.
The goddess is here.
So
Welcome.
Goddess, introducing yourself.
My name, not only the accent, my accent is not all the way correct.
It's
but
okay.
Risikat Iyabode Okedeyi.
Risikat.
Risikat.
That is
Well, it's just Yabo, but I add the, I like to add the extra because it just
because
Yabo
you're
feels
Yoruba.
too short.
Yeah, Yoruba. That's why. You have to add the extra. So when I met you, I had no idea that you were Nigerian, let alone
A lot of
Yoruba.
people don't think I'm Nigerian; they think I'm Jamaican.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been called South African.
I can see all these things.
Yeah. So but like somebody.
But about
Both
the
your parents, yes. So you are Nigerian? Yes, actually. Are you sure? Like, yeah.
Are you sure?
Birth certificate.
Why are
But
Nigerians?
no,
Because Nigerians
let
are
us
rude.
check it.
Let us check it. They don't believe me.
Check the DNA.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Thank you
I
so
actually want
much.
to do that. I actually want to do the DNA and see if I'm 100%.
What else would you be?
You never know. You never know. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
90% Yoruba, 10% spirits.
It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. So people never believe I'm Nigerian. And
I didn't even believe.
I know you didn't. Apparently, I don't look Nigerian.
She was talking to me at the beginning of the trip, and I was like, "Who is this lady?
Yeah, why is she hollering at me? What's going on?
Who's this American lady?
Why is she? What's going on? Why is she just in my face right now?
But you got me because you was hitting me with the
accent.
You hit me. You hit me with the code switch.
Oh yeah, I do.
We never came back to code switch.
Now we can be talking about the code switch.
Code switch is I enjoy it now. And because of Nollywood, I've been able to practice my accents.
Your accent is so terrible.
I know. I know it's terrible. I know it's terrible. I don't care. It makes me feel happy. So I don't care if you people like it or not.
Zainab, rate.
Her accent is horrible.
I don't care. Why do I care?
An Nigerian accent over 100 is 5.
I don't care. I don't care.
Accent, yeah.
If it's bad, it's bad. Why do I care?
In fact,
But I like the fact that
this is why Nigerian Americans don't mess with y'all, because you sit up here and you talk trash about us. You make us feel bad about our accent. I don't really care.
I know you don't care. That's why we.
You would deal now.
Any black American that thinks that they.
Why would I cry? Who am I? Risky Cats.
Risky Cats.
Goddess. Why would I cry?
So that risky song is about you. Risky. Risky Cats.
I do live on the edge, so
hey.
you know, I'm an edge liver.
Edge liver.
I live on the edge.
Stupid. Does everyone here have a Muslim name except for me?
What's that?
Muslim name.
I'm Zainab.
Yes, Muslim.
Proper Muslim.
Yeah.
I did my Quran.
Are you practicing?
Graduation. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you're practicing Muslim. I didn't know. Okay.
Allah, you don't practice. Do you have any Christians in your family?
Everybody who's Nigerian has Christian in the family. It's like part of the breakdown.
But our mom, a Muslim to the core, practicing.
She wasn't really a hard, a staunch Muslim when we're in Nigeria.
She never gave up that identity.
I know. So I grew up with both. I grew up with, I just
going to slide.
Go need sliding.
It will slide. It will slide because something I put here has slid down before. That's what I do.
So what
people from experience.
What that be Franco Shoni?
It was paper, thank God.
He will slide something like this.
Somebody will just hear the wind will blow in one direction.
Don't forbid bad thing.
I keep forgetting that I have a down mic in my hand.
That's so funny.
I'm chopping and eating.
So our listeners are gonna laugh because my co-host Bao, he's always eating something when we record all the time. You'll hear ruffling of plantain chips. You'll hear rufflings of plantain chips. You'll hear him.
Right now we're eating cashew nut,
prawn crackers
and Doritos.
Please, I have a question for you people. You people eat.
You people, you're so raz.
Really? You people. So, what's your question, Auntie Zainab?
I'm just being myself.
I'm listening. You be yourself now. That's why I love you. And please, I want it noted on the record that we initially started with one bowl of chops, right? All of a sudden, Zainab has her own platter. Her own platter. And she hasn't offered to share any. She hasn't shared it with anybody. She's like, they won't notice. I'll just be quiet.
Even her body language with the crackers, she's just hovered over like don't matter.
If I don't look, they won't ask because I won't offer.
People eat corn crackers in America.
Yeah.
You have it there.
Well,
yeah, we have it.
Here's the thing. When I was a kid growing up in Miami, my mother used to buy them.
Oh.
And she would fry them. You could throw them in the oil and they would come up. Everybody ate them but me because I don't eat prawns. But yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen them in forever. That actually was a nice little.
I'm John a regular day.
That was a nice little.
Aren't prawns like giant shrimps? Anytime I've seen a prawn, like people are like prawn cocktails, I'm like, no, I'm good. No, they're the. That's what they call them, bottom feeders.
It's a little creepy.
Bottom feeders. I want giant bottom feeders.
You bought at Spa. What did you call it? Giant prawns.
Tiger prawn.
Did you eat it? Did you eat the tiger prawns?
Yeah.
Black and the striped, right?
They're huge.
I didn't anything named tiger prawns. But yeah, I don't care. I don't need. Yeah,
sounds like a Nigerian boxer. Tiger prawns.
Tiger prawns is approaching the ring.
You know how
It's true though. Is somebody gonna name the damn show tiger prawns? Watch.
That's probably the name of a damn fool.
I'm telling you, it's a damn fool name. In God we trust.
In God we trust.
Allegedly. God we trust.
Allegedly. Yes.
So I was asking Zainab yesterday. Do you know one of these transportation cars companies that will take you from Lagos to Ghana? What was the name of the company you told me?
God is good.
GIG.
Gig.
I thought she was joking. Googled it. Number one
of the best in Lagos.
Really?
And peep this, so you can book online.
They have good buses.
Good buses. You can watch movies on there.
It's called God is Good.
God is Good.
You know why?
And I forwarded it on to whoever.
What is the easiest way to get a Nigerian to spend money?
Bring God now.
That's it.
God is good.
If Goodwill took one O out, it'd be the biggest company in Nigeria. God will. God
Before he
will.
was
People.
but as the man just died, so the company just went under the C-suite.
Okay.
Bankrupt.
The back is up. Mm-hmm.
So God is good. Just
Brought it back together.
even over ABC too. They've been around for a long time.
Wow.
But God is good. All the time.
Everything on you.
All they have to do.
Transport company, logistic company.
Wait, hold on. Oh, so what? They're not paying us.
Okay, so we're not advertising. No advertisement, no pre-advertisement. But if you people, God is good, want to sponsor,
we are here.
if you want to sponsor LOS Lifestyle,
So now,
reach out to them.
please push your hands together and yes, there you go.
Also, where can they reach out to if they want to sponsor your hair vaults? How can they reach out to you?
On email.
Email.
Hello. No. But please put the H.
Wait, like
hello.
okay, not hello.
Not hello. Hello. With the H. HELLO.
Is it or?
Hello. Hello at loslifestyle.co.
And
There's no
com. And I'll make sure that it's in the description.
It's not a mistake.
I'll make sure it's in the
Just
description.
like when you ask somebody for your number in Nigeria, in Lagos, they say
01.
I'll be like, what is O? Is it not 0? 080? It's funny.
Nigerians are fast. Just take off the
080.
That makes me cry every time.
Seriously. Before it is not 9 knots.
Nah,
Not 9 knots.
So what are we talking about? I'm just here hanging out.
So we were talking about.
Now that we've gotten the.
We were talking about a bunch of things. I mean,
know you guys were. I was listening. It was fantastic. Oh my God, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
I love a good
Thank
podcast.
you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
being authentic. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I do.
Word.
Boom, boom.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came on this journey with these wonderful young women.
See how I can tell the story. So it's interesting because I've known of Lola for a while. We met, we're both in DC because of what I do on the scene artistically and culturally and what she was doing. Actually, before Bring Back Our Girls, we'd met before, but she was out here architecting, being doing her thing. And then when the Chibok situation happened, she decided to do something about it. I was like, yo, whatever you're doing, I'm going to support. And so she held, Lola is a beast. She literally organized, massive protests in front of the Nigerian embassy. And they were pissed, boy. That thing was fantastic. And, we would go out there and support. And just in talking to her, I was like, yo, I really dig her. She's cool, super cool. And I have been coming back to Lagos for the last 7 years as an adult. So a little bit about me. My mother died when I was 19 in Nigeria, unexpectedly. And it changed the trajectory of my life, but it also made it very difficult for me to come and see her gravesite because I'm the oldest of 5 from my dad, and I have another sister, so there's 6 of us, and I was away at school in Florida, and I had to come back to Maryland where my family had gone back to, and so for years I didn't have access to my mother's grave. When the way I grew up, Nigeria was like this scary place. If you don't behave, I will send you back to Nigeria. There was always this threat. So I learned to fear Nigeria even though I'd only come as a child once. My mother didn't send us back on a regular basis. So for me, this trip means a lot because I am starting to come back on my own regularly, and it feels really good. In January, I did a trip in December to Johannesburg, came over to Lagos. We hung out, and we were just excited to see each other. Because there's something about when you grow up in America, when you see each other in Lagos, it just feels like something special.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'd never experienced Lagos any other. It'd always been family. Lola took me to all these places, and I found my tribe. And I was like, this is how I want to be when I'm in Lagos. I don't want to be sitting up in Surulere looking at my family, which I love dearly. I love all of you.
We all do.
But I'm single, and I am looking. I am taking applications. I can't be in Surulere.
Well done.
Just sitting at home watching Indian.
This is also advertisements.
Right, of course. Now I can't be watching Indian soap operas.
Yo, they love it.
If you're looking for Kat,
So-
she's at Kat's Corner. KATS Corner.
Oh my God.
Kat's Corner on Instagram. Yes, please check out. And she's available.
Please don't watch Z Word again. No.
Thank you. So today I'm Ayo, she is Funke. Right. So after we came and I think we pictured the shit out of the trip, and everybody started hitting us up like, yo, the next time we go to Lagos, I want to go with you. Da-da-da-da-da. And we were like, well, why don't we put a trip together? So we came back in June, did the rounds, met people, started, we had built this proposal. I honestly can't, realistically speaking, we started talking about this in January of this year. It's December and we did it. It's really powerful. For me though, it means a lot to be able to, you're so silly. It means a lot because I do feel like an outcast. I am an outcast.
A lot of Nigerian Americans.
Yeah, I was called. When I went to Abuja the first time when I came, I was like, so you are the imported one. I was like, wow, I'm beer. Okay, I don't know how I feel about that, And that was because Nigerians would just say all kinds of strange things to you. No tax. You are the imported one. Welcome. You've added weight. No, I've been told, you've added weight. Next time he says that shit to me, I'm like, you've added age. Let's talk. You're older. What do you want to talk about? I mean, it's just...
Oh, you've added another wife.
Oh, wow.
How about that? Because if you throw shade back, they can't handle it. But,
That's so funny.
it was this... I was an outcast. I felt like an outcast. I took formal Yoruba at University of Florida for 2 years. Took it again at Ohio State. And because my mother died, I didn't have anybody to talk with. Because my dad he's Nigerian, but he's like Yoruba man, just like, Now he's super cool about it. Now he just starts yelling at me in Yoruba. I'm like, Dad, you need to slow down. I need a minute. Because Yabo, he doesn't call me Cat. He called me Rissi, or like, Yabo, Wambi. I'm like, okay, Dad, what do you want? And he leaves WhatsApp messages in Yoruba. I'm like, Dad, I didn't catch all that. Like, what's going on? But when I was younger, he wouldn't speak to me in Yoruba.
Yeah.
It was my mother.
Aww.
So I can write it. I can read it a little.
That's fine.
I didn't have anybody to practice with. And the thing about it is, and I think people need to understand, we want to be connected to our culture. And the way our families have processed Nigeria, it's usually through this negative lens of, oh, it ain't shit. We left because we couldn't do this, that, and the third. My mother loved Nigeria. She already told me, she had told me if I die, send my body back. She was always pro Nigeria. And I think the one time we came together, I was a kid, she was crying. She's like, this is not the Lagos I remember. This is not the Nigeria I grew up in. And so the way that Nigeria was forming was very hard and negative. And, everyone worries about you when you're, we can't go by yourself, da-da-da-da-da. And at some point I was like, fuck it. I went, got the visa, cussed out everybody at the embassy, and then got my visa, got on a plane, and I came. And I brought my little brother with me, and we did it. And it was amazing. But it was stressful and tension-filled and the whole nine. And it took about the 5th trip, after the first time we hung out together, Lola, the next time I came, I had this feeling when I got off the plane, I was like, I'm home. I've never felt like that about anything in my life.
It's amazing.
And so it's important to me. And I'm aware of my blue passport and my accent and the privilege that I walk with. But I want Lagos, I want Nigeria to be home. That's kind of one of my goals. And I think it's important that people get to visit.
The word is getting out there.
No, but it's important that people
visit. But please let me remind you, this woman that is talking, she's a lady. Don't let me use woman. She's a professor. Professor,
I am a professor.
So in case of any man that want to,
call it correctly. Professor, Professor,
It was along you that you want to come to our page and say, okay, let me check you out. Make sure you boy okay.
Come correct, too.
Because you will finish
she
you
even
with
teaches
English.
a professor of English too. So it's not just African American and all these Africans. It's English. And she has accolades.
You don't know why it's going on.
She has accolades. And she deserves some more accolades. So if you can't step correct, please don't step at all. She has Kennedy Center.
It's true.
So the accolades of bride price will go poor.
My fault.
That one is correct.
My fault.
Correct jollof rice.
I'll say it's very
that
much
is
in
a
fact.
basic test. Any man who wants a Yoruba woman,
It's
a
basic.
Nigerian woman, too, if you cannot cook jollof rice, please just find your exit.
T1 Bale ṣe jollof. Wọ́n tiẹ̀
And
qualify
I want to be
kankan
clear, I
rárá.
don't interview for positions. I get recruited, so do not come to me with questions and shit because I don't do that. Okay, so I recruit. I don't interview. So
She's a recruiter.
And
No,
no,
I-
they think say because she dey live for America, she go help you travel to
no,
America.
make sure you.
She's not giving you blue passport, no
Because
green
now
card.
we see men,
We're
they
not
always
looking
think,
for-
if you don't
all
see
you, hey you,
American
I
maga now, you go come here and
Take
talk
it.
story.
They
She's
be
my
saying
sister,
that
don't try it.
it's not a pathway to blue passport. The one that they be saying, I beautiful, I beautiful. That's the
Hello.
one that me I be getting.
Hello.
Hi sis.
When are you around? I like to catch fun.
I catch trips.
I like to catch
Let's
fun.
catch trips. Let's catch trips.
I like watching ball, catching fun, praising God. I like to praise God. I like to prayer.
And then they miss every other letter. A verb.
Oh yeah, trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Trying to be.
It's like using text language. Even in text language, if you cannot write complete sentences, please don't apply.
You know what else I hate? You know those Yoruba people when they change their name so they phonate.
Yes.
Holan Rewaju. HORLAN. Folar. Oh my God.
Folar. They put an R at the end. Folar.
Any fucking time I see that, I get upset.
It's like Shorlar.
Olar Warley.
Warley. I'm just like, what's wrong with y'all?
Like
Is
what?
it that you can't pronounce your own name?
Literally.
You gotta help other people? Oh, actually, yeah. You need to know how to pronounce your name.
Yeah, just to reiterate
Talk
what
about
my
Z?
auntie said,
Oh, word.
I do not.
Well done. Give them. Busi.
You say camera, a microphone.
Olu busy.
Zainab Oluwabusola. Kò sí fóònù ẹ̀ ń bẹ̀. Má jà sọ fóònù ẹ̀ tí ò sí bẹ̀. Mi ò ní.
Oh my God, Agent Z is like lifelong dream.
Can I tell a
Agency.
story? Even
Agency
yeah,
is
we
so
call her
funny.
agency. She is an agent.
So, for those that don't know, Zainab is the Minister of Tourism for Lagos. She won't tell you that, but she is.
She's also a comedian.
Joe.
She is a negotiator.
She is hilarious.
So there's a story from the trip that I wasn't there, but apparently I know the story like I was in there. So some of the tourists came and they needed to exchange money. And so Agent Z, being who she is, took them to a section, was it Yaba? Akirele Street in Surrey, to exchange money. So they find these money changers on the street.
Wow.
And here's a skill. Here's a tip for all y'all people who come or go to foreign countries and be changing cash. Don't do it. There's a process. You have to first of all invite them into your bus.
Yes.
Where you control the environment.
Correct.
Collect your naira before you
Collect
drop
your
dollar.
money first before you give them your foreign currency. Because they will switch on you and give you fake money back and then say, we are not doing deal anymore.
Thank you.
So apparently agency invited this dude onto the bus. And so she's negotiating a fee with him. And he's playing hardball. And she's like, you know what, my friend, get off my bus. Get off my bus. So she basically kicks him out.
Was he
locks
northern?
the door.
Northern. I thought the northern. The northerners.
They're usually the money changers. And so she locks the door and she's just like waiting. Because she's a tactic. And basically this guy starts banging. He's on the door. He's like, okay. He's gonna agree to her rate, her exchange rate. And then she says, okay. Then he's like, okay, give me the money. She's like, are you crazy?
Do me a favor.
Go and bring my money. Go and bring the naira first.
Get right here, man.
In front of people who just touched down from Lagos. This is it. Yeah.
Like they literally either have arrived that day or the day before. And so they're watching this like, this woman is handling this man. Oh, we forgot about the story about how the bus driver got into a fight and then she got out of the bus to go squash the beef. Anyway, back to the story.
Wow.
So she basically is
She's like, I does this.
and everybody in the bus is like looking at each other like, oh, like they had her back. So he comes back and I think there was still something, the money wasn't complete. And then the women in the bus were like, get off our bus. We have to go. They're basically like egging her on to be like,
it became a social experiment.
It's a social experiment. Like they were like, oh, we got her back. Like, so he goes back and gets more money, right?
Yeah.
And she sits there, proceeds to count all the cash in front of them before giving him the money and tells him to exit the bus. So that's why we call her Agent Z. One of the reasons.
Amazing.
I call her agency because she is the Lagos ninja. This child will show. You'll be like, where's Zainab? Zainab will be right behind you. You didn't even see her come up.
That's true though.
Yo, she's stealth.
That's literally true.
Like she's stealth. Zainab will protect you from crazy hawkers.
It's true.
Zainab will, dash anybody with terrible pricing.
It's
like
very true.
Zainab she's an agent. Like if she was an agency, she'd be like the head agent. Like she's just amazing. So CIA ain't got nothing on Agent Zainab. She can find anything. She can find it.
This is true. I've literally, I don't even understand the questions I'm asking her all the time, but she knows the answer. She knows
the answers.
It's happened multiple times on this trip.
She could, anything you need in Lagos, she will find it. Hey, so I need a strawberry that's made of like special herbs and berries. That's
you're talking about acai? It's okay, I got it.
Easy. I got it. And see, 10 minutes and it'll be there.
Just go to that corner. You talk to Iya Kasali.
Exactly.
When you talk to Iya Kasali,
just tell them Zainab sent you.
Yeah, Kamoru. That's when you go get. She'll give you the bag of berries.
She knows everything, and she knows how to. That's the resourcefulness.
What was the other name? The other Muslim name they don't name people anymore. Your grandmother's name?
Oh, Shifawa and Abeje.
Yeah.
Abeje.
I couldn't remember how to say your great grandmother's name.
Shifawa is mine.
Shifa. We gotta find out what that name means.
I will. My mom's coming to town, so I'll ask her. Shifawa.
Some of these Nigerian Muslim names are interesting because for the life of me, nobody could tell me what Aristocat means. It wasn't until the first stepmother, my dad has a thing, for Moroccan women, and the first stepmother,
One Africa.
it's a nation now. So she took me to Morocco with her, and she's like, she has the same name as you, Turia and Aristocat, they're the same thing. I was like, oh, what does that mean? She's like, it's like a chandelier. It's like something that shines. I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. It's like you're just naming me stuff. You don't know why you're naming me.
It's risky. That's why they name
risky. Risky cat.
Risky.
I am an edge lever, so it's correct.
Risky. No relation to Bobrisky. Thank God.
Shake.
That's motion shake. See, in America you have the Harlem Shake. She was doing the motion shake.
We should start a dance craze.
Oui. You speak French now?
We can do it.
Parlez-vous français? Pâté to pâté.
Pâté after pâté.
After pâté.
Pâté after pâté after pâté after pâté.
Oh my God. So yeah, that's why I'm here, because I want to be part.
Wonderful.
But I'm also kind of cool with my weirdness, so.
No, I mean, we rock with it. I think Lagos is very weird. I think to understand Lagos fully, you have to be completely comfortable with expecting the unexpected. Because I mean, this time yesterday, this time 2 days ago, I was getting chased by a mentally ill man outside of Landmark Towers.
Did you run?
No, I stood there.
No, I mean, why was he chasing you?
So basically, there was mad traffic. We were going to Moist. I also hate the name of that place.
We need MBB. We need to call it something else.
We were heading to the beach club.
Because that name is for cakes, not for beaches. Continue.
Moist. So we were heading to the beach club, but we were stuck in traffic outside of the beach club.
Right.
So a drive that should have taken 3 minutes now took 20 minutes.
Right.
So I got out, and I said, you know what, if there's an Okada going, I'll just jump on the Okada and get there safely. There was no Okada going on. There were just people who were walking. So I'm walking, Sha. And in the middle of the walk, I realized that there's nobody. Okay, that path, people are walking past, but now my path is clear. Like there's Abueros everywhere, you know, and this was I'm not worried about them. So I'm like, okay, let me just turn back and go to Shiro instead. So I turned back, walked around towards Shiro. There's still active traffic happening, so I'm like, I'm safe. But the closer I got towards Shiro, that traffic kind of started to dissipate. So I realized that it's me. There's some armed mopos that are kind of just like patrolling the area. And I'm like, okay, cool, there's some mopos, I'm safe. And then I look at the corner of my eye, and there's this dude sitting like in front of a gate, just like posted on like pallets, just like posted there. And I'm like, okay, that's strange. Let me just keep walking. 5 seconds after I saw what I saw and I kept walking, that guy just I can, you know when you feel like something. So I turn around and it's like, you ever watch anime?
Yep.
Ever watch like Naruto? You know, like when Naruto is about to go into fight mode, he starts running, but his arms are behind his back, so he's like. So that's how this guy. When I tell you this guy bolted at me in that form, I nearly shat myself. But the moment he got to maybe the distance you're at, and then it was like Get Out. You know, it was literally like the scene in Get Out where the guy just. That's literally what happened. So. It was fight or flight, right? So the minute I realized he's running in my direction at full speed, I dart the other way, and then I see that it's a mopo. So I ran towards the mopo. The mopo is just laughing at me because he saw the whole thing happen.
You see my mouth for Lagos.
He saw what happened and he started dying. He said, I didn't think you were going to run. I said, and you weren't gonna say anything. You didn't think to shoot anything there, nothing.
Okay,
he said, why are you walking by yourself? You know this is Lagos.
Thank you.
And I said, you are right. I got too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're from here, because even the officer there's no way, even the way I was dressed, it was until I put my mouth that he knew I wasn't from here. He was like, why? Are you okay? Why are you walking by yourself? Where's your path? Where are your people? I said, no, Mufam. They are coming. They are coming. No, they're coming. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Then somebody random was walking by me, and I was like, Shebi, what today? So I said, what's your name? He was also not a tourist, but another IGGB. So he was going to the same party that I was going to. It worked out perfectly. So that's my story of how mentally.
I just got back.
I just got back.
So Johnny just come and I just got back.
Yes.
Okay.
Today about our club consumer. Not frequently. About your about girls, wicked girls, like here about you. I'm up with you, maga.
Yeah. So I don't fall for those.
So yeah, tell you about 1 o'clock last night. My guy is written all over him.
I love that y'all use MAGA in the way that you use MAGA in Nigeria. That thing tickles me to my core.
Once Orange and Chief became president and I started to see MAGA, I was like, oh feet, oh feet, one gone, and he doesn't even realize it.
No.
But it was that was the thing. It's like when it became
I think Davido made it popular because he was using it in music.
Yes, from MAGA is MAGA to Mugu.
MAGA to Mugu, him and Simi.
But when Trump started saying "Make America Great Again," and they kept saying MAGA,
all the Igbos in Nigeria loved him.
Laughing. They're like because he is the original 419er. So for you to mind saying MAGA,
it's just two worlds connecting.
It's two worlds connected. And America is like, America enter one chance. Original MAGA.
The president.
Original MAGA is your president. One chance.
One chance.
Please, can somebody explain to the people here? I'm sure you've explained what one chance is. But basically, one
please,
chance
you don't want to know what chance is.
No, but we have to educate them so they understand exactly why we're saying MAGA to one chance. One chance is basically when you get taken in, you think you entering into a vehicle that is actually like public transportation. Unfortunately for you, everybody else in that vehicle is in it and you are the victim. So you get robbed and taken. So you could get into a car, people taking transportation, or you could, and then next thing, a whole bunch of people either jump in, or they were already in there. And you thought there were other passengers. Yeah.
Yes, no.
It's one chance.
You are headed to the forest.
One chance.
You got one chance to jump on the side of the road.
You got
It's
one
two
chance.
things. Is that they rob you and push you out of the car,
Or
or they rob you and still take you to where they will insist your life.
I mean, they would take you to the ATM machine and tell you to withdraw cash.
Thank you. Oh yeah,
God bless you if you can't remember your ATM card number.
God forbid. I can't even access my shit. Oh man.
So basically, America is that passenger who was unsuspecting that the MAGA chump was driving the car.
Oh my God.
So one-way road.
That is an amazing analogy. Oh my God.
That's nuts. It's also funny because that's the second analogy, the second Nigerian analogy that also had basically a parallel universe with an American analogy, because we were talking a few episodes ago about Burna Boy and how when he put out Ye, he was able to capitalize on Kanye West's Ye that came out at the same time. So as Kanye is trending for Ye, Burna Boy also dropped a single called Ye, and everybody's like, who the fuck is Burna Boy? Everybody in America is like, I'm looking for Kanye West's album. Why the hell am I getting an African guy?
And you're loving it.
Absolutely.
Because everybody at the concert wasn't Nigerian. So
Yeah.
it was brilliant.
And he about to get a Grammy, so slit.
Yep.
Lit.
I'm proud of him.
This has been an amazing episode.
This was fun.
We've been going for about 2 hours.
Yes.
We had Gotishness from
Agency.
Zainab.
So wait, I got a question for you.
What's up?
So, I mean, you speak Yoruba, so your situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
But what does Lagos mean for you? Like when you come home, what does it feel like?
So Lagos is interesting for me because the first time I came here I was 6, and when I came, we were talking about this earlier, Abacha was president.
Oh wow.
And I wasn't old enough to know what the hell a dictator was. I wasn't old enough to understand that my parents grew up in a city that was, the same city but completely different environment. Like they grew up in a time where Fastag Town was so clean, where it was like state of the art everything. Right. They had waste management. They had street lights that ran 24/7. They had an energy grid that was stable. You could go to the club and not worry about being,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you could literally go around the entire country and be safe.
That hurts my soul.
You could jump in a car and go to the north. You could jump in a car and go to the east, west, and there was no issue. And for them to not be able to show us those same experiences, I think that hurt them. So they were very against us going to Nigeria by ourselves. But as an adult, they can't tell me where to go. So when I hit an age where I didn't really need their permission anymore, I started coming on my own. And because of the industry I'm in, I started to meet a lot of people that are connected in these spaces. So I didn't really need them to really explore the city and to travel. I love Lagos. I think my frustrations with Lagos are the same frustrations all of us have. It's like it's infrastructure, it's people dealing with mental illness that are unaddressed. Because it affects when you're dealing with people that are literally incapable of being able to do the basic things because they have anxiety or they're depressed. Like they don't even want to be where they are.
And our
attending
language
to you.
doesn't have words for that.
No,
there's nothing.
Oh no, we do.
Do we?
We do. Like anxiety is Ironu.
Okay.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, there's different words for it, but I don't know all the deeper ones.
I remember once telling my dad, I don't think I'm depressed. Don't use that word.
Because anxiety.
He wasn't trying to have it.
In the West, we know anxiety causes ulcers.
Right. And everything, yeah.
And in Yoruba culture, they always say that Ironumanfa, whatever that is, right?
Yes.
So we know the detrimental results of these things. Right. It's just we don't address them anymore. How many kids, I'll even say my age and how many people my age and younger even know what an Ironu is? They don't use those terms. Right. I know those terms because my parents use them, my grandparents use them. So I think part of it is our generation and younger not caring about the language and not some of them aren't even exposed enough to the language enough where they can connect with it in that way.
Sure. Whose kids are growing up here and they don't even speak Yoruba.
I have cousins that I
actually find it very rude.
I have cousins that live in mainland that don't speak Yoruba.
I find it very rude. It's
Yoruba
very
language
rude.
is almost going into extinction.
No, it is. So I met a brother a while back at the social media week, I think in 2016. In Lagos. And he was saying that Yoruba is becoming extinct in Nigeria. Now, it's spoken more in Brazil than it is here.
Yeah.
And there was this woman who wanted to prove a point. She wrote her entire dissertation in Yoruba. And because she did that, none of her panel could understand it. They had to get it translated to understand what she was writing about. But she wanted to make a point about the importance of Yoruba.
Yes, no.
And she wrote the entire dissertation in Yoruba.
Wow.
There's this professor too that just died, Professor Sophie Oluwole.
I think that might have been her.
That woman is, like, she does everything in Yoruba. Like, when she tells you the Yoruba history, you will so love that language.
It's a beautiful language.
Like, I've met her like 1 million times because the government usually, like, they bring her. She comes for our seminar, she like facilitates on it. She talks to us.
Zainab's important, y'all. Just
Zainab
in case y'all
is
forgot. Agent
Agent
Z.
Z. She's a well. Y'all better pull from it.
If you are coming to access Agent Z, we have to go through LOS lifestyle. Because this is a good time to announce that LOS Lifestyle Management has just signed our first artist.
Umbrella.
I've not told you the vision for this company is to be the Virgin Group for Africa.
Okay.
Okay, so think about that. So LOS Lifestyle Management, our first signing artist is
Branson.
Is Zainab Busola. No, you are
among the management now.
No, she's not management.
Signing me, you should sign me.
No. Cat's Corner. Coming to a newest streaming something.
My TV show. Let's do this.
Yes.
Let's go, dear.
So I'm just saying, agency is available, but you have to come through LOS Lifestyle.
Come true.
Hello at loslifestyle.co.
And I also want to chip this in. There's one thing LOS is doing that is like really great and is making the company different from other tour companies in Lagos, in Nigeria, let me say, because the government, we've worked with so many tour companies and we realize that most Nigerian tour companies, they bring people, they take people from here over there. But LOS is doing something different, which is bringing people from there to come and experience Lagos in a different way.
Hey.
So that alone, please.
And she was not paid to say that.
Yeah.
So, I guess we're coming to a close on this Say No Wahala podcast.
You know what I'm saying? It's
been like
I am going to ask each of you.
Battery don't lose. One bar, look away.
I know he's like playing on his phone now.
No,
like,
I'm checking.
Which of the ladies slid into his DM while he was in Lagos? Oops, did I say that out loud?
Ladies,
Meanwhile, I'm going to put him on blast. So I was walking past Tunde's room last night.
Wow. Some kind of conversation.
It was one voice, but then I wasn't sure if it was television.
I have no idea what is going on here.
Voice and a voice.
No, it was TV.
TV, no,
it's TV.
TV. I was like, kilo coming. It's not my business. He's a grown man. He's a strapping, healthy man.
That was it.
That is it,
Tommy.
That was it.
You see, he's not denying it. So see, people be listening. When people talk, we just listen to what they are not denying.
Well, no.
You know what? I was watching Shark Tank.
Only Shark Tank, not Sharknado.
No, Sharknado.
Okay.
Montank.
Okay.
That's how you call it now.
Wow. What are you insinuating, sir?
I'm not insinuating anything. I've already said what I said. I said what I said.
Whoa. Interesting.
So I think in wrapping up,
that's another good segue. Wrapping up.
Wrapping up.
We're done. We're
See,
done. We're done.
I actually want an LOS Lifestyle podcast.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's make it happen. Okay. Let's make it happen.
Since you all have been on this trip, and it was the first, so let's part with one thing that was a high. Like what is one thing that you really like that was just your moment? What was that one thing that was your moment?
I think it's funny. I had a lot of moments, but the thing that was the most was yesterday when I took.
I had a lot of moments. It's funny.
Right. Danae and Russell and we took Murwa to Glover Park to get suya. Yes. Okay. We took it to to Glover Park, and they rode Okadas back
No,
to
no,
the
they
hotel.
fear.
That was so much fun.
For those that don't know what Keke Marwas are, they
My bad.
are electric tricycles.
They're adorable.
Tuk-tuks, yeah. Okay, yes, tuk-tuks.
They're so
for all our fans of Asian culture, they're tuk-tuks. They are some are
There's
gas powered,
yeah.
some are electric powered, but they're electric or they're powered tricycles. Yeah.
And then the Okadas are just the moped type of the bikes.
Straight up.
Oh
I
my
love
God.
that. I've always wanted to like.
You want to be a Okada driver?
No, God forbid,
Okay.
bad thing.
I was just asking.
But I've always wanted to.
I would ride your Okada though if you on
Whoa,
it.
that sounds
If you
crazy.
were on the Okada, I
That
would be
sounds-
like, this one I want.
That sounds crazy.
No, because your minds are in the gutter.
No.
It's Okada. It's
Please,
meaning something
please.
else.
There's something else.
Please.
My bad. Please,
No,
thank
it's
you from the
okay.
record.
No, it's okay.
Ah.
It's fine. It's
No, I
okay.
didn't know Vex. I didn't mean to
Nobody's.
insult.
Nobody.
I'm just
Who is
checking.
insulted?
I'm just checking. Sorry. So right, I said what I needed to say. I'm done.
I don't want to spoil your market.
I don't spoil my market.
You're advertising yourself.
No,
You're
no,
right,
no.
but
No, right,
like I said, we have to vets now. We have to
I
vets.
want
Ladies, please never
Omolola
tell a man you want to ride his Okada unless you really want to ride his Okada.
Magun
We're not talking about riding a car.
Mo shoe.
Surfboard, server.
What is happening?
You are not riding his Okada.
Please not. Look, me. I'm just minding my own business.
It's in the focus.
I'm
Answer
focused.
the question.
Highlight of this trip was Okada riding. Other highlight of my
Not being
trip.
chased by a madman.
Not being chased. Oh yeah, being alive definitely highlight of my trip. Okay, highlight of my trip. I really enjoyed the mahoho. We talked about this
Mahoho.
earlier. What I didn't enjoy about that is how the government still hasn't really been. They haven't done right by that community, and there's so much that can be done. Like even we went there and we braved. I mean, brave is one word, but we kind of endured the environment for those of us that aren't natives. Look at Zainab's face. Yo, Zainab, talk about your experience about ho-ho.
The Makoko thing. Well, I've been in Lagos for a while, so I still keep wondering how people survive in that community.
Yo, I want to know what water, like how do they bathe? How
I
do
don't get.
Sanitizer is not enough.
But the thing is, can you imagine their immune systems could probably withstand all kinds of
If they went outside of Nigeria, they would probably die of
Yes. They
something
will.
stupid.
They will
Yes,
die.
they
Because
would
their
die.
immune system is so built
Yeah.
for that environment.
Yeah.
Something clean would kill them.
Yeah, I think they will.
That's what happens. People that are from like really dirty environments, when you bring them into like less like areas with less
Man, you
bacteria,
better believe it too, because
they can't thrive.
it's not as if they are living in a dirty environment and they live there. Like they live, their life is there.
I know. I'm watching those babies play in the water. I was like, oh, yeah.
That year was spiritual.
No, yeah, it was.
Your heart wants to.
I'm
The
the
whole
proud auntie of 10 nephews and nieces, and the youngest one is like 5, and I was imagining Ayo playing in that water, and I was like, I can't.
Hold on, Ninja.
It was too much.
I got
But
back
the
to the
thing-
hotel.
That was like a bad dream.
Like 3 hours, I was still, the smell
Yo.
followed me inside my room.
I put all my clothes in a bag and like sealed it. It was
same,
bad. It
same.
was bad.
I did laundry that day.
Because and the thing that's troubling is that area, it wouldn't take much to get all that plastic out of there.
It would take
Something
a
else.
month. It would take a
It
month.
would not take much at all.
It would take a month.
I mean, you need to do a podcast where we can talk about the litter situation, because the litter
Yo.
needs to be discussed.
So waste management, that's an infrastructure thing, and it existed in the times of
Right.
our parents. So my thing is, I'm concerned with what things what do we have to do as
Right.
diasporans in order to get the city, the government, whatever, to care about this stuff for not just the communities that can afford it in
Right.
Banana Island
Exactly.
and Ikoyi,
Exactly.
and
With that, with the waste management, so there's a government agency, Lagos State government agency called LASWA, Lagos State Waste Management Agency.
shout out to Laswa,
And they, LASWA. So
where we had our
there's
event.
one.
We had our event.
Oh, sorry.
Loma.
LASMA.
Loma is the waste management
LASWA,
agency.
Loma, LASRAB.
All of
Lagos
them.
State government loves their laws. So they have I think it goes beyond just the waste management system. It goes towards behavioral change. There has to be a mindset shift of how people live, that you make it easier for them to adapt new behaviors. So while you may have blue bins in different places that are supposed to now be recycle or trash collectors, if there's one too far away for people who are used to just dumping stuff on the ground or throwing it in the water to do, they're not going to use them. It's not going to get it. So you have to actually study. This is behavioral change, psychology, social psychology. You study how people throw or get rid of trash. How do they consume things, waste? And then you build your solutions to make it adaptable easily. If you now have me leave where I am and I have to walk maybe 15, 20 minutes away to go throw trash away, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But if you can hire the people in their community who are already using wheelbarrows to be the collectors, then take that trash to your blue bins or whatever.
That's a business.
Work with that local system that currently exists on a more regular schedule. And then you are already building into a system that exists.
I have a free idea. An Uber for waste management. A community-based.
It needs to happen because even the normalized proximity to trash is unacceptable. People are way too comfortable with trash just being there, and I think when you're born into that being the normal thing, it's hard to change it.
It's like
but
any hood in the world.
It's not cool.
Shit
and
everywhere.
I think the thing with Badagry that hurts me the most is that
Is Badagry like that too?
There's trash everywhere. And that's a special site. It's sacred.
That's the beach.
And the beach it's terrible.
It's one of the
But Badagry, the city
it's fantastic. Town is very clean.
But the beach area is terrible.
So why the point of no return? Well, it's the responsibility of the government.
When you walk the point of no return, there's literally trash
everywhere,
bottles everywhere, and
there's a lot of tourists and people going there.
But also, what they should do,
needs to be sacred.
The police here are always concerned about patrolling and taking money from people and taking phones and stuff. They can make so much bread by just enforcing that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways that law enforcement can be reorganized so that social services and public, public services can be better managed.
There are people sitting around at the boat dock. I'm like, you all, the path from the time you get to the boat dock to you get to the beach, it's littered with trash. There's no reason for that to be the reality. It's
seriously,
it's hard. It's hard to look up.
I want to live. I want to not necessarily live, but I want to be able to visit a Lagos where law enforcement are actually doing that. They're enforcing people to be clean.
Right.
Like you want
in a
the city
humane way.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, instead of harassing people for, you can harass people for being fucking dirty.
Right. Wahala was enforcing, and he did that for 8 years.
Harass people for being fucking nasty, and let those nasty people bribe you.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Like not the people that are just trying to get to work.
Meanwhile,
every day.
I'm taking all my water bottles back to the hotel because I can't find a trash can anywhere.
You know.
Like, I cannot find a public trash can anywhere, and I was like, okay, I'm taking this back with me because I don't know what else to do.
All they'd have to do is put blue bins and green bins, whatever, in public places. Put them in junk.
Fashola did that. We actually got to the point where we separate our trash. You put the plastic in one bag, put all the cans in one bag, and we're recycling.
Do they still do it?
How does that go away?
So that's a bigger story.
Yeah.
You have certain people. Yeah, she can't say it because she's a public figure here.
Right. We don't want you to lose your connection.
So basically, the short story is there's power behind power, right?
Right.
And the power behind power pays certain people that are affiliated with them in order to take care of certain organizations. Some of them being public organizations or governmental organizations. So if you have employed your boys to take out the trash, right, and somebody else comes in and goes, you know what, we don't want to use your boys anymore. We're going to use a completely different thing. And your boys are now jobless and they're now on the streets. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be pissed. Yeah. And they're going to do whatever it takes to get their whatever they think is theirs back. And it's this battle between, different alliances that is part of the problem.
We need some continuity. This country...
It's like America. Yeah. It's like one mayor gets out, all the policies that the previous
but not
mayor...
really, because if trash collection is happening, regardless of who's in charge, trash collection is happening. Like, you don't lose trash services because the mayor switched up.
Well, yeah, because the mayor, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
But
you may have some issues with payment or contracts.
I've seen certain cities where that has happened,
well,
where it's
Flint
like
is a good example.
Yeah, you know what I mean, like Flint.
Flint is a great example.
You know,
of
you're right. Even New York, there's certain public.
Flint still does not have clean water.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, folks is bringing ice trays.
It's wild. Agency.
Your highlights.
Well, the only highlight.
The only.
The only.
is the fulfillment that anytime the tourists get back to the hotel, like they tell me, I had a nice time, this is what you did, you know, they were so happy.
Yeah, they were good
The ones that they were not happy, they will tell you too, I didn't like what you did today, the sun was too much, you should have given me this.
Or they just get on the bus and go to Ghana.
It's just the fulfillment.
Right.
That's my own highlight.
Boom. What would you like to see different next year?
Yes. LOS needs to check the type of people we put on this trip.
We're going to vets, don't worry.
Because we had a lot of issues, you know.
First year.
People calling, snitching on us, which we cannot take that next year.
People were calling and snitching?
Oh.
We had issues.
Mm-hmm.
People on the trip that were calling who?
We'll talk about this off air. We'll talk about it off air. Don't be
the vendor.
We talk off air.
Oh, that's fine. Air. Interesting.
Yes.
Don't be a bastard, though. Don't be a bastard. Whoever wants to be bastardizing things, don't do that. Please.
So let me ask you a question, Zainab. What is the one thing? I know I think it's safe to say I'm like one of the few sort of African Americans you've ever like been in contact with. But what did you learn from the group?
A lot.
Like, what did you...
Like, it has really changed my perception about Americans.
Okay.
Because I always see Americans like, well, when my sister came back from America, like I was actually telling them, because my mom always tell me that Omolola, even when she was small, she was like, Nigeria, she's coming back to Nigeria to do stuff. She's been saying it for a long time. So when she came, and I try as much as possible to speak in English to her, but she always respond in Yoruba.
Right.
Do you get? And I'm like, okay, I think she doesn't want to speak in English. Let us talk in Yoruba. That for me it's a good thing. And the people on the trip, I say that they really want to connect with this part of the world. Right. But some of them behaved like we Nigerians are, let me be on my own. I'm a VIP. While some of them loosen up.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
They changed my notion. You changed my notion too about Americans.
In what way?
Because you are this cultural thing. You are very like you are into the culture thing.
Yep.
And so anytime I see you, you're always like I told Lola one day, I said she puts on so many things that on a normal day, even in Lagos, I won't put it on.
My jury, she's talking about my jury.
You rock it and you just go out there. I'll just look at you like, okay.
That's me all day.
So there are some Americans that don't want any sense.
Right.
Why some other ones?
Right.
We've had so many tourists.
Right.
That comes to the state government that, okay, take us on tour. And let me tell you a story. So this man from Stock Exchange.
From New York.
Here in Lagos.
Okay.
So he brought in some Oyinbo men. There were no blacks on that group. So he brought them in. Okay, he came to the ministry. We need you. Take us on tour. We want to see Lagos. I said, okay. And the commissioner gave them 6 tour guides. He told us that there are like 140 people on that group. So the government gave them all they needed. We gave them buses, the 2 tourist coach. We were ready, fueled and all that. We got to the hotel. And I think this is part of what made it difficult for LOS to get the government support.
Okay.
So we got to the hotel and we're like, okay, Mr. Man, we are waiting for you downstairs. All the buses are here. And lo and behold, they came downstairs and it was like, yeah, it's just 7 people that is going for the And my oga was like, 7 people. You told us 140 and we prepared for 140. Right. Said, no, it's 7, it's just 7. And those 7 said, they are tired. They went to club yesterday, so you will have to chill for them.
People from the stock exchange.
Yes. And we've paid the drivers, fueled the bus. You know, we had to tell them to leave. And we told him, okay, choose the bus you want to use. He said he needs the double-decker bus for 7 people.
Why are people like this?
Then we now got to NCF, that's the Conservation Foundation. To climb on the canopy walkway, they had 3 ladies on the group. They were putting on 4 inches heel stilettos. And you want to use it to climb the canopy walkway. We gave them the advice before we climbed the thing. Okay, and she said, I'll be fine, I'll be okay. And my oga said, was Zainab, leave her, make she they climb. And she almost fell from the bridge. Because the heels, it was entering the thing, was coming out there. She removed her wig, removed her shoe. So that is something tourists need to understand. When you come and they give you instructions, you need to follow instruction. And I said it, LOS. I told Tunde too before we started this thing that if we want the government to come on board for this thing, because it's a good thing. And Saturday has really proved that people really saw it, that you really want to portray Lagos in another. So we need the governor on it. If the governor knows about it, every other thing will be easy. Because Americans, they don't scam governments well now.
Well,
yeah, they've done that.
It's true.
So, and the government is so careful.
Yeah, and they should be. But I think it's interesting that they'll show up for white folks real quick.
Yeah.
And that's the part we need to change.
Okay.
He's you know, colonialism, man, did a number. It's the greatest PTSD social experiment in history.
I like that.
The Portuguese.
Yeah.
Do any Portuguese like government, do they recognize their involvement with Lagos history at all, or Nigerian history at all?
I don't think so.
And they should. I mean, we have a whole city named after one of their cities.
I found that out. I was like, what? Why you keep pulling up Portugal and I'm trying to go to Nigeria?
I know, like Lagos.
I think we should start having.
Brazil has a relationship with Lagos State government.
Yeah.
And they are trying to work some things out with them. So
That's fire.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's something we need to get these colonizers to acknowledge their history, exchanging bodies in these borders, because a lot of the GDP, a lot of the banks that they have in these colonizer countries are a result of them trading human beings that were here.
That's right.
A lot of the richest families in Lagos too. A lot of them made their bread off of selling. Hey, everybody walking around saying, "Oh, these Nigerian families are rich because of oil money and real estate." Shut up there.
Oil is still new now.
Shut up there.
Oil is still new.
Shut.
Baolari oil.
It's true. You know, a lot of these big name families, man, they made their money. I mean, your grandparents won't tell you because they're ashamed about it now, but they made their bread off of selling people, dog. So, yeah, when anybody tries to tell you the narrative that white people just came to Africa and just gathered them up and put them on a ship, that's not what happened, bro.
I mean, winch.
Yeah, winch.
That's not what happened,
They
bro.
had help, no?
They had help. You can't just roll into somebody's community and just snatch people up without dying. Oh, also, when did Lagos become a tributary of the Benin Kingdom? When did that happen?
I don't know.
Because the Oba, I believe the only Oba in Yoruba territory is in Lagos, correct?
Well, no.
Oba is a Benin word, correct? We have Oni of Ife, we have Alafin of Oyo, we have.
Yeah, Lagos got that title from Benin. Benin is the only thing, people that they use Oba. It's a peculiar thing to them, but because they came to Lagos,
They brought it with them.
Oh, got
that's
it.
why Lagos is using Oba of Lagos.
Got it.
They are always like, I think the date was 1860 something. It was Benin came to Lagos in 1860s.
Okay. And who were there before
as their
that?
war camp.
Got it.
Yes.
Echo.
So
Got it. So is Echo a Benin word?
no, it's not a Benin word. Where did we get it from?
I always thought Eko was a meaning war camp.
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy.
They've turned it to Jeopardy for $500.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Put you on the tourism.
So Zainab.
Okay, we are getting loopy right now.
All right, where can everybody find y'all?
The one who is taking applications. KATSKORNERCO, Cats Cornico. Follow me there on Instagram.
Follow us at LOS Lifestyle CO on Instagram.
Yes.
Should I be giving my personal?
No,
I don't give you people my personal. At LOS Lifestyle CO on Instagram.
Follow us.
You get Sensima. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. This has been an amazing, insightful episode. What she said like this, I knew that she was wrapping up.
I think this is now funny though that we just gave the business one and we were like personal one.
No.
Like
no way.
No.
Yeah, I don't want 50.
Yeah,
y'all don't want 50,000 people following y'all.
We do, but
It's okay.
there you go. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, and I think we now have a Twitter thing. But, we do have a Twitter. Oh yeah, the low scala. Okay, all good. But thank you, Wahala. Thank you.
We'll put all the links in the description. Thank y'all for listening. Next time on Wahala, the podcast.
Live and direct and signing out.
Peace out.